Hello and welcome back to We Bought a Mic, a pop culture podcast, a pop culture POTUS cast for Good Mike Hunting, a series on the films of Mr. Robin Williams, actor, comedian, freaking candidate,
truth teller,
to the highest office in the land,
independent thinker.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back to our series on Jon Stewart. I mean,
Bill Maher.
Oh,
Aaron Sorkin.
Lewis Black. Freaking meta that they have the king of political comedy himself, Lewis Black, in this movie.
Talking Man of the Year, written and directed by Barry Levinson. Welcome to the show. Mm-hmm. My name's Ernest.
Guys, you know what I always say. Podcasters are a lot like diapers. They should be changed frequently and for the same reasons. My name's Hunter.
My name is Schoolboy Drew, the Man of the Year himself.
Yeah, I almost did a Man of the Year thing, but after being canceled for doing a Black Country New Road song tie into a movie that we were covering, I figured that I couldn't do a second.
That was the sweatiest thing you've ever done on this pod, and we are in a garage.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm blasting the AC.
Just gave like a titty ass hands in the air. Somebody over here checking for the Man of the Year.
And joining us today for the first time, it's a big deal, boys. From the Seltzer cast, Mr. Sean Patrick O'Brien. Welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I have to say, I did forget my powdered wig, and I did forget my jacket, my NASCAR jacket, branded to Squarespace and Casper, which, because podcasters, they really should have who they're sponsored by, like, on their jackets, Well,
the dream for would be for you to have like all seltzer companies, just all kinds of jackets.
That would be good. Yeah.
Seltzer.
I mean, if you look back on this after we record this podcast, you'll actually see that it's not our faces that are doing the pod. It's all of our sponsors that donate money to us every month. Yeah. It's their faces are on top of our faces.
So, Sean, I can't believe that it's taken us this long to have you on. We've been on your show multiple times. You're a member of the pod, the extended pod family, with you being Kira's partner, the Zillennial canon Kira. And I was talking to Kira's co-host Adam, and we were saying that, like, if we were to form a podcast empire, you would probably be the emperor of that empire. It would be like a 30 Rock situation where like the NBC is owned by like General Electric.
Oh. So, I thought you were gonna say like Sean's gonna be like the Alec Baldwin.
That's what I thought was happening.
Yeah,
sure.
I didn't know.
Well, you're not shooting people.
Sean, what's your propensity for manslaughter? Like, what? How likely would you say that's a thing to happen in your life?
It could happen to any of us.
Yeah. Alec Baldwin, also a like Long Islander. I've seen him out and about a few times. Like always in the Hamptons and everything. So. But yeah, glad I'm not a Jack Donaghy type. Like.
I gotta say the heat that he's taken for killing someone on the set of Rust has really taken the heat off of him for being an asshole before that for many years.
Sure.
So props to him for that. He hedged himself.
I didn't mean to compare you to Alec Baldwin, Sean. That was meant to be a compliment. It's more about like the possibilities that could open up if you were acquired by like a seltzer company, and then that company acquired all of our podcasts. Okay. So it's like it would be like a seltzer production. So then we could always just get free drinks on the podcast. It would just all be tied into like a vertical marketing strategy. Look, I got ideas.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, send me this presentation. Come on.
Yeah, let's go.
I got a deck. I'm working on it.
Let's go. So today we're
drinking Topo Chico.
You just don't want to talk about this movie. He's deflecting so hard.
Thoughts about this movie that like definitely none of us chose this movie and insisted that be included on the podcast.
You're wearing a big puffy wig. We're all looking for the guy who did this.
I don't know what's going on. I'm fucking scared. So I don't know what any of this shit is.
Well, famously, we should say that the announcement graphic, who made that graphic? We're all looking for the guy that posted the social media graphic.
The guy who posted all 215 of Robin Williams credits and was like, yeah, we should do all these.
Did not include this movie on it. Instead, it had the final cut, which we all know the DVD box on my shelf did not have a disc in it. So we know that's if there's no disc in the box, there's no way to watch that movie. Like that's how these things work. So
the year is 2000. I'm going to say it's 2005. It says here released 06. This is the most 2005 movie I've ever seen in my life.
Well, it's very post re-election of Bush.
Right.
Well, in the heat of the Iraq war.
It's a fucked John Kerry movie. But I did just want to make it explicitly clear, because when we've had these guests on for this series, we always ask the guests, why did you pick this movie? I just wanted to make it explicit. Sean did not pick this movie.
Oh, hell no, I did not pick this movie. Listen, I know you guys have been doing this for a very long time, but this would not have been my, like, nothing. What? It would not have been my choice.
Oh, what?
No.
Why not?
Hunter has been trying to talk about this movie since we started this series.
I know that Hunter thought this was good when he was a little more.
Because
he saw the poster.
I know when he was 11, he thought this was so good.
I thought that this I clapped in the theater when I saw this when I was 11. The whole bit behind this movie, and we're gonna get to this whenever we eventually get to the categories, because what I thought this movie is better than it is in actuality. I thought this movie is, what if a guy ran for president as a joke and won? Not what if Jon Stewart circa 2005 ran for president?
Yeah.
Or 2004, I guess, because that's when this is basically set.
This movie's a mess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, that's not even the issue with the movie for me. I mean, it is, but like there are a lot of issues with this movie. Before we get,
do you want to talk about how freaking how cool it would be if there was like, I don't know, like if there was somebody who's like more of a celebrity than a politician who were to take over office, and like maybe somebody who is like known for like being brash and being outside of the system, and maybe somebody who during debates will like frequently try to cut off other candidates.
Oh, you're onto something.
Yeah, no. I think this is, we're cooking with gasoline here.
Zooming out, was this your first time watching Man of the Year, Sean? And also beyond that, what's your general relationship to Robin Williams? You had slim pickings here because this was a post schedule. So
yeah. I mean, first time seeing Man of the Year, always saw the poster, also expected it to be quite a different movie. First Barry Levinson movie, actually. Somebody who I've heard about so often, seen definitely like parts of, say, like Rain Man, but like never actually sat down. He's the kind of director that half of his filmography is on like my watch list, but I'm never like, I'm going to sit down and watch it. Relationship with Robin Williams, I'm not like I love Robin Williams. I don't know, like there's not like
he's not one of your guys.
He's not one of my guys, but it's not like I dislike him either. It's just kind of like he was always there, and I always like was happy when he appeared in things. But a lot of his work, I feel like I saw when I was a kid. And like, I haven't seen Jumanji since I was a kid. I haven't seen Mrs. Doubtfire since I was a kid.
Both hold up pretty well, I would say.
Dead Poet Society, same thing. Like I saw it in school, and like I haven't seen it since.
Yeah, you stood up on your desk.
Yeah, exactly. I lived it. Yeah. No, Night at the Museum, I will say, first movie I remember seeing without my parents in theaters.
Okay,
nice.
So I do always associate that. But yeah, nothing against Robin Williams. I love Robin Williams. It's just I'm not like. I haven't gone and watched all of his movies like you guys have. You know?
You're lucky.
Thankfully, it wasn't all of them.
It was enough though. I appreciate that perspective coming onto the pod though, because you know there's a giant sect of people around our age bracket who just have inherently insanely warm feeling towards Robin.
Yeah, towards RV.
And I generally did like Robin as a kid, but also, you know, even as a child, I saw a couple of Robin movies that I just didn't connect with at all. And doing this series, I've seen a few more Robin movies that I didn't connect with at all. He like, credit is due that he genuinely, he puts like his artistic proclivities first when choosing projects. He doesn't choose projects typically based on just pure cash. Like there are definitely cash grab moves. This is the completion of a trilogy of Barry Levinson films that have not only like had Robin Williams as a star, but as like a true collaborator. Like
Good Morning Vietnam,
yeah,
Toys, and now Man of the Year.
I'm surprised that particularly for Good Morning Vietnam that Robin didn't get like co-writing credit, because that movie is
just let him cook.
Yeah, it's just putting the camera on him and like really, really lengthy takes, which Barry is he's way better at that than he is at anything else, is like getting a more natural feel. Like
some might say his son has the same ability. That the best thing Sam Levinson projects are that he's able to capture good performances and things.
Sure. Yeah,
sometimes he might be up his own ass if he's trying to do other things.
So yeah, I mean, Toys is hard to even encapsulate in like a quick sentence, but like I very much appreciate that like a pretty down the middle director like Barry wanted to do something nuts with that movie. Mm-hmm. This movie, I don't appreciate hardly anything about this film.
No, it's garbage.
And so Sean, when I saw, or when Ernest told me that you had rated this movie 1 star on Letterboxd, I was so relieved because I didn't want to have to tone it down.
Yeah, I mean, just a note for your listeners, anybody who wants to see this movie, I've encountered with like, I have a movie club, and like in my movie club, it'll be sometimes hard to find a film, or I have to rent it, or I have to go out of my way to buy the DVD. Oh no, this is streaming on YouTube, Pluto TV, Tubi, Hulu, and HBO Max. Maybe the only movie to be across 5 streaming services right now. Extremely accessible to find. Maybe because nobody fucking wants it. It's awful. It's so bad. It's an atrocity of a movie. It's garbage.
Thank God, man. Okay.
I was going to say
defender.
I thought that I did not know what the take was on this going to be. I didn't find it. This movie frustrated me more than
it's
anything.
A mess.
It's a frustrating film.
Yeah. It was that was kind of more than like just being like upset with it or just thinking like this was without merit. I thought that actually we're going to get to it eventually, but I think that Robin's like pretty good in this movie.
Yeah.
I like everything that Robin's doing. Robin is cooking. There's one particular sequence whenever he's walking out and they're like press is like surrounding him as he's walking to his car, where it felt like they were just like, here's 90 seconds of just like letting Robin cook, where he's like, yeah, there was a prostitute. I got a prostitute whenever I was 21. She gave me a refund because it was so bad. Like he's like doing Robin bits back and forth. I was like, this is all working. Our girl,
Laura Linney.
Well, so
that is where the movie is like, it's so bad. Everything. And there's like some like, from the outside looking in, you're like, oh, an election's getting rigged. Pre-2020, it's like, that's something that's at least an interesting idea. Especially this is post-2000s, hanging chads. So like, how do we kind of capitalize on that in the market? Even if 2006 is a little bit late to make a commentary on 2000, but I get where it's trying to do something, but I think that everything with the Ellie character and with Laura Linney, everything she's doing is like, it's some of like the worst writing for a female character that I've seen in a movie.
It's really
we're just going to give her the hysterical female character role.
Julianne Moore in Magnolia.
This movie generally, it does not write her, and she,
but she's good. She's a talented actress.
Well, she's a good actress, but she's given it's like a really, really dumb bad version of Magnolia. Right. Julianne Moore's character in Magnolia, where it's just constantly being told like her status and like, being denied. So generally though, because you're right, that is the problem with this movie, but like bigger picture, I'll read the 1-sentence synopsis.
IMDb.
A comedian who hosts a new satire program decides to run for president. Here's the problem. It's not over yet.
That's enough. That's the film.
So that's
enough of a movie right there.
So that's a movie. Comma, and a computerized voting machine malfunction gets him elected. So that could also
That's a different movie.
But so
that's like an Adam McKay film right there.
The only way that can be contiguous is if we're not really focusing much on the computerized voting thing, and it's just more about the fact that this guy's in office and he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't reach office in this movie.
Yeah, because that's what I went in expecting, is it to be like a fish out of water comedy, and I think that would have been really funny. Like even the poster itself, like it says like, what does it say? It says, "Could this man be our next president?" So seeing that and seeing Robin Williams and just thinking of his like shtick of just being like funny, you do imagine the movie of just like, oh my god, like it's Robin Williams, and what if he was president? Like it's clearly like supposed to be that, and like it just tonally is a mess.
Yeah.
And what they do with Laura Linney, like, did any of you see Empire of Light?
Yes.
Okay, so Empire of Light, a movie that I generally liked.
It's a movie
much more than this, but tonally, there is a scene in that where Olivia Colman, I think she has like a mental breakdown or something, and it's the same way it's presented in that is very similar to Man of the Year, where like it just becomes a mess. Like it takes one scene and takes one character that is like totally fine up until that point and just makes it awful. Like it just is like
kind of derails
because the first half hour of Man of the Year I thought was pretty okay, and I was kind of okay with it. And then after the first half hour, I said essentially like, you know, if I wasn't watching this for a podcast, I probably would have shut it off.
Yeah,
this is that out there.
This is maybe the best example I've ever seen of a hat on a hat movie, like ever in my life.
It's too much.
Just like if one person had power over Barry, which they didn't because you know he had earned a lot of clout over the years, they would be able to easily identify the issue here. This is 2 and potentially 3 movies in this one movie, and so the result is it's also not that long. So scene to scene, like you said.
Oh, it feels very long.
I know, but scene to scene, you're getting different genres of film. You're getting different styles of filmmaking.
Yeah, it decides to be a thriller when it should be a political.
That's
comedy.
what I was going to bring up. Was that whole thing of Laura Linney then being hunted down by this
at the phone booth and
thing it's insane. Like the music in this movie is awful. I have no idea who did the score, but the score is horrendous for this film. Like. A score is one of those things that you usually only notice it if it's great or if it's really bad. And this, it accentuates how tonally all over the place.
Yeah, okay.
Let me jump in here because I
come in here in the defense.
Because look, here's you guys are not wrong. Okay, I totally agree. I probably give this movie like a 4 out of 10. Like I'm not gonna say that this is a great movie, but. What this movie does is it basically serves you 2 completely different dishes. On one dish, you're getting maybe like a dessert, like an amazing like chocolate mousse. And on the other dish, you're getting like, I don't know, like a pizza or like some kind of like breadsticks or something. Those things should not go together. And this movie is asking you to eat both of those dishes together at the same time. And they're both great dishes. Like I would watch the Laura Linney political thriller. I think that for what it is
with a different writer,
for what it is, like
please,
that stuff, if you were to extract that away from the comedy part of this movie, I feel like that would be a great movie.
I agree.
I think it could be. I don't think it would be because the way it's written is
that's either way. You need a new writer to come in and rewrite. But yes, you are right.
But that's the other side of the movie too. Like a lot of the dialogue in this movie is just bad. But like the pieces are there.
No, well, there are elements for 2 distinct like movies that make sense logically. But the fact that they're all crammed into one makes each half flat out bad, and as opposed to being like partially good. If anything is partially good, you would say that. The Good Morning Vietnam style scenes where we're just we're letting Robin and Lewis Black and the funny people be funny. That works decently well. That's when we go handheld. That's when we actually sit in a scene for a half a fucking second, because otherwise there's too much movie. We don't have time. We have to jump around so much. I never once felt settled into a movie in the movie.
Well,
it's inherently.
Should we talk about the beginning of the movie?
And the end. It's always a risk to start and end your movie with
montage,
not even just like narrative dump by Christopher Walken's character seemingly in a deposition, and the amount of plot,
which you did predict that it was a deposition with God in heaven.
Because
that's a joke.
No.
Well, I do have a question about his whole character, because his whole character by the end of it, it's just like, I'm just gonna keep smoking because it's too late to quit. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, my guy, what are we doing?
So the amount of plot that Christopher Walken covers in that beginning 3 minutes,
that's a movie,
is what we thought the movie would be.
It should have been.
Is him just like explaining how this guy came to run for president and got to almost the end of running for president.
Which, by the way, because one person at a Q&A session at a late night session said, you should run for president.
Yeah. So
I wonder how often like that's happened, that just like somebody will just be like hosting a late night set and they're just like, you know what, like James Corden, you should run for president.
Jost,
please.
Should run. Well, Sean, so have you seen the trailer? Did you watch the trailer before watching this?
No, I went
go back and watch the trailer, because I feel like you might disagree with this, but I feel like that trailer, it definitely lays a seed for the Laura Linney stuff, but it sells a different movie. From watching that trailer, I thought that we were going to get at least half a movie leading up to Robin deciding to run for president.
Yeah.
Like I wanted that movie. Yeah. I wanted the build up to like the moment where he's like, I am going to run.
Well, and
it happens too quick.
It's so fast that
the election happens too quick too.
Yeah, man. The election's at like the 20-minute mark.
It's going the majority of the movie is spent with Robin as the president-elect. Like that's where the meat of this movie is. That doesn't make any fucking sense. That is so
either make it with him pre-election or post getting into the White House.
Because Sean, you said that you like the first chunk of this movie. I think I did too, but that even despite enjoying it, I was like shocked. I was like, my head was spinning that we had skirted past the choice. Like, what did you think of that? Was that a thing for you? What
do you mean the choice? The choice
to run.
Yeah, it just happened too quick. I mean, I want to take it a step back and say I didn't love the first half hour. I just was a little bit more tolerable than the, I don't know, hour and 10 minutes that was to come or more. It was like almost 2 hours, right?
It's like an hour 40 something. And
it's a long movie.
I know. Yeah. And it feels long. And it, if Levinson had his way, it would have been much longer.
I do want to ask, would you say this is in the top 5 worst uses of Jeff Goldblum in a movie ever?
Oh my god!
That was on my notes. They don't use him at all
in things. Like you almost can't even tell it's Jeff Goldblum in some scenes. And
what are you
doing with our boy?
And they're giving him they're giving him dialogue that doesn't befit the way he acts. Like they're giving him really fast, like paragraph-ish dialogue. He's not getting to react. He's a really good reactor. Like
I love Goldblum.
He is so flat in this fucking.
What did you think of his wig, Sean?
Goldblum's wig?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice he was wearing.
It's a bad wig.
It's a terrible.
Okay, wait. Let me go see.
He has like a Jerry curl. It's like insane the hair choice that they gave him in this movie.
Lee loves Jeff Goldblum, and I think that she was kinder on this movie just because he was in it. Just because she was watching him on the screen.
It's just
he's so bad in this. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. But like it's truly like they gave him henchman dialogue. They made him just a hench, and that's not what you want from Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
It's really bizarre casting. They're not using him to his full potential whatsoever. And also it's exactly what I said previously of like they wanted this to be a comedy, or like I guess they didn't, but to my expectation, I wanted it to be a comedy.
Well, I mean,
so if I hear once I heard Jeff Goldblum was in it, I was like, that's amazing. Like he's always like such a good comedic actor, even in shitty movies. But they have him being the most dramatic person here, like a Bond villain for like no fucking reason at all.
I don't understand. Like Barry Levinson, usually at least all of his films have more levity to them.
Well, Good Morning Vietnam is a comedy.
I mean,
even
something like Rain Man. Rain Man isn't a comedy, but Rain Man's breezy. That's one of the things that makes Rain Man a rewatchable movie and makes it feel so like light on its feet. Is that like Tom Cruise, if you like analyze it for 2 seconds, Tom Cruise is a shithead in that movie. Like he's like a bad human being who's taking advantage of his brother, but that movie just feels so light on its feet.
Yeah, it's
and this
well over 2 hours and it feels shorter.
Down. Yeah. This movie just feels like it's covered in fucking molasses.
Well, and a lot of it comes down to the directorial style, which is all the result of the writing, because when he is in the midst of like this like political psychological thriller with Linney, he's directing it like it is one. And like in terms of like just pure like creating an aura of being scared, it worked in like a couple of scenes in the house, for example.
Yep.
Like if that were in the middle of a different movie, it would be effective filming.
Right, because it's not necessarily like badly directed. Like I am curious to see his other work, but like it's not horribly directed. It's just like, you know, the issue with movies nowadays is like I'll watch a movie and say like, oh, that's either algorithm cinema or the studio like really like hacked it up. I don't get that feeling here at all. It just feels like two different movies and like maybe not enough notes on a script.
It's just and that switch from, you know, like a handheld little political statement comedy movie. And like we were saying while watching it, script and directorially extremely Sorkin. The amount of walk and talks.
Oh, yes.
The fast talking, the monologizing.
Dude, he wanted to.
We're gonna get to something similar whenever we get to the recasting couch.
Yeah, super annoying.
The whole time that you're watching it, you're thinking of which Sorkin project you can pull different ideas from.
They say West Wing in the movie.
Yeah.
Like the two women are called Allison and Jamie.
Yes. Yeah.
And did you catch that the two president nominees are Kellogg and Mills?
And I was confused by that because when Laura Linney was doing the voting, and I feel like that was like one of the first introductions to her, apart from just seeing her maybe like sitting on the couch.
Seeing her,
I was really confused. Well, I was confused because they explained like the voting system, and they showed that people were voting for Kellogg's and Mills. So I assumed that maybe they were doing like a test to, you know, like find out who was the best like cereal brand. And I didn't know it was like I thought it was just like an example to like see how like the voting system was working. And then the second they said that the president's names were actually that, I was like, what is the joke? Like, what is the joke
it's like,
here?
is it because they're just like brand?
It's just like it's different levels of intelligence with your jokes, like because there are jokes where they're really trying to genuinely make important statements about like the way politics work. And then there are jokes like that, and they don't.
It does not translate.
The harmony doesn't work. And then the biggest result of having to switch around to so many genres and so many different movies is that we don't get time to develop character depth with anybody. So
it's so jarring.
For example, the reason that it would be a great movie to see like a Robin character run is because of the conflict that man would feel. Because like, as it turns out later in the movie, he doesn't know if he wants to do this, but we don't get to actually experience him feeling like that, except for maybe one line. And that's really interesting. So we get no time with that. And we don't get much time to like Laura Linney or understand what she's getting at. Like her motives are really unclear for a while until she gets to meet Robin. And another side effect of having to cram so much in, the way that she like enters Robin's life is fucking absurd. Like it's so
it makes it's
so
like,
dumb.
Walks in to like
yeah,
he's the president-elect, and there's like just let anybody.
This
is still like a post 9/11 America. Like they aren't just letting anybody walk up in here.
So he's going through maybe the craziest thing you could ever go through. Like as a person, he has been elected president. He has no idea what he's doing. And this woman, he met her when she was pretending to be an FBI agent, and he's like, security flagged you, but I said it was okay because there's just something about you. And that is the gist of his whole relationship with her. Is he just thinks there's something about her that he trusts her, even though every single time that she has a chance to explain herself to him, she does it so poorly. Like it's so fucking frustrating watching her just stumble through. Because she sounds like a schizophrenic
at
person.
one point, literally at the party, she's just like says later on, like, you're having such a good time, I don't want to spoil it. What? That's
Get to it.
45 minutes of the movie if you just say the thing right there. Her and her relationship with her son Danny, which
is that her son or
no? That's her coworker.
It's her coworker.
Okay,
yeah. It's very unclear.
David Alpay didn't really work much after this, and it makes sense why. That's like one of the worst, just like sixth billing actors in a movie that I've seen in a long time.
No, yeah, it's clear that there was supposed to be more with him because like before Linney goes and fucking meets Robin, we don't really understand why she's in the movie. Like we don't the plots are really not related because it's sort of unclear. Like we know that there's a glitch in the system. You didn't
get the double L, double G, double B.
No, but we know there's a glitch in the system, but we don't necessarily know, like, has it already been hacked? Is she going to hack it to help Dobbs win? Is she going to hack, has someone hacked it the other way? They don't make any of that clear. So the result is the beginning of the movie is just a ton of shots of whenever Robin's cooking on the TV, it cuts to Laura and that guy just watching it and laughing with wet eyes. Like that is the gist of her character for a good while, and it just sucks.
I think that this movie could have been better as a mini series.
Yeah, of course.
If you stretch it out and you just give more time to all the different elements.
Bill, because then you could make the whole the voting machine thing make any sense at all. You could get into character depth with either of these people. You can make it so the way that they meet is not fucking stupid. Like there's so many things are just the result of laziness and just feeling the need to just fucking shove as much shit as you can into one script.
Yeah, you feel like Barry is trying to fit a lot of thoughts about the state of America into this screenplay.
Let's go for this. All right. So what if instead of him running for president, he continues to like work like a news show, and then like we'll get a different writer in here. We'll get like, I don't know, like Aaron Sorkin to write this, and we'll recast him. We'll have a Jeff Daniels type as the lead role. I see. Is that something? Is that kind of the train where we think that this could add more of a poignant commentary on all this? No, this movie was just, again, a lot of it was just frustrating because I think that I wanted this to be have more screwballiness to it. I wanted this to be more like fun, more light. And it's like half trying to make commentary on things and half trying to be political thriller and just kind of doesn't really know what it's trying to be. And that's what we're getting at, where it's just kind of all over the place, where some parts of this movie are really fun. Like, again, like I actually thought that everything that Robin was doing in this movie worked for the most part.
He's solid.
Outside of like the final act where he suddenly has conflict that we haven't seen when the camera's on him the entire movie. That's just bad writing. But I think that like some of the acting choices that he is doing in particular in this work, I think Christopher Walken was fun in this movie.
I always love to see him.
Love Christopher Walken, everything. Yeah. I thought that he was good in this. I have questions about his character and anybody challenging him from like trying to like stop smoking and making kind of changes to his life, but he was fun in this.
He ain't walking at the end of the movie, I'll tell you that much.
Can we talk about Walken for a second?
Please go ahead.
Please.
Okay, so this reminds me. So last Saturday, a week from yesterday, I went to a used bookstore and I picked up a book that I really regret not buying. Especially because it could have been something wonderful that we could talk about on this podcast, but it was called Christopher Walken, A to Z, the man, the movies, the legend. The second I picked it up, opened the book, not the first page, page 47, but the page I opened it up to was a thing about him picking a butt double in October 2007.
Cool. Nice.
So it said the celebrity news blog starpulse.com reported that Walken demanded a butt double during the filming of the 2008 feature $5 a Day. According to the report, the actor was mortified to discover a scene in the script that called him to drop trow on camera. Producers scrambled to audition doubles whose derrieres could passably pause for Walken's own. Men lined up to get Polaroids taken, confided an on-set source. So after seeing him in this film, I needed to just share that.
Have you?
He got a butt double for that, but I guarantee he's like, no, don't worry, I got my own pack of Camels I'll use for all of our smoking.
Sean, have you ever seen the 2007 film Hairspray?
Of course.
He's incredible in Hairspray.
Yeah.
He's so good in Hairspray.
That for some reason is like my go-to Walken in my brain. Whenever I think of Christopher
that's
Walken,
a wild go-to. That is your one.
You're timeless to me.
I think about that too. I feel like that's always fresh in my mind when I think of Walken. Yeah. I also was at
She turned black.
Is Kira gonna cover? Are they gonna cover Hairspray in Zillennial Canyon?
I don't know. Have they already? I'm not sure. They should.
They need to if they haven't. That is a classic. Like I remember vividly seeing that in the theaters as a kid. Speaking of things that I remember vividly as a kid.
Hold on. I want to keep talking about Christopher Walken.
Okay.
But
I got a Walken story too.
Oh no, I was transitioning off of Walken to talk about John Kerry.
We need to dedicate 35 minutes of this.
All right. I have like a solid 45 just on John Kerry and my thoughts on him as a presidential nominee.
Save that thought because Walken, like, he's a national treasure, and he was in Severance last year, which we loved, but I don't think he's gotten like his due. He's never won an Oscar. Did he win for The Deer Hunter?
He's known as a joke to people our age. For the most part, he's known.
His voice is funny.
It's not Cage level, but he's known as the guy with the funny voice and like the cold stare.
Oh no, he did win an Oscar for The Deer Hunter.
He won. Oh, he won an Oscar for Deer Hunter.
I think so. Nice. What was your Walken story, Sean?
He's excellent.
So I went to a movie at Tribeca Film Festival that starred Christopher Walken, Amber Heard, Hamish Linklater, Oliver Platt. At the time, I thought it was pretty good. It used to be called, I think, When I Live My Life Over Again, but then when it was released
like really indie movie.
Yeah, but then when it was released on Stars Only and changed to the title One More Time. The premise of the movie essentially is like he is a old like crooner, like a Frank Sinatra type, and his daughter is like a singer-songwriter. And they like bond, and don't remember much about it, but I thought it was like decent at the time. And so Walken was there at the Q&A, and they had asked him, because this is about like he like sung in the movie, were like, what is attracting you to all these musical projects lately? And they said like, he was like, what do you mean all these musical projects? And they said, well, you were recently just in Peter Pan Live, and he
as Hook, right?
Yeah, and he did not know what that was. He was very confused. He was like, oh, yeah. Like he clearly was not aware that he was in Peter Pan Live.
That is very concerning. No. That is is he going full like Dianne Feinstein mode? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, he just has like an earpiece in. They're like, now we're just gonna need you to sing like zippity doo dah in this.
Well, you know,
you're just gonna.
God willing, he doesn't remember this, you know, and that would be.
I hope so. I will say I do associate him not just with Hairspray, but with Catch Me If You Can. That is.
I was gonna say that's like my favorite. He is great.
He was nominated.
I didn't realize that he actually won for Deer Hunter, which he's great in. But Catch Me If You Can is like. It might be his finest performance. He is so good in that as Leo's dad.
Also an elite SNL star. Yeah.
Incredible.
What about
more cowbell.
Yeah.
He's
no.
The hit 2020 movie that he starred in. You guys know Wild Mountain Time.
Oh, of course.
Wild Mountain Time.
No,
that's at the same time.
You know,
y'all see that?
Like I just always think of him as the guy from Percy versus Goliath.
Mm-hmm.
Well, have you seen? Have any of you seen Wild Mountain Time?
No, I have no idea what you're saying.
What? Wait, do you guys?
No idea what you're saying.
It's time. Right, it's THYME, right?
Yeah,
no, I heard about this. I didn't see.
Do y'all not
like
know the twist of Wild Mountain Time?
Should we spoil it?
Please spoil it.
I can't believe you weren't joking.
It's
that
John,
it's THYME.
Yes, John.
It is.
John Hamm.
Emily Blunt.
All right, tell us.
I was very excited.
Spoilers for Wild Mountain Time.
Yeah, okay. So I was very excited for this movie because it's set in Ireland, was kind of marketed as like the Irish version of Moonstruck.
Yeah, it's written by John Patrick Shanley. Yeah,
John Patrick Shanley. Generally really like him. This movie, spoiler, skip ahead like 10 seconds for what I'm about to say. The spoiler of this film is that Jamie Dornan is convinced that he is a bee.
Like Buzz.
Yeah, like Buzz.
So does he talk in English? Does he speak English words?
It's definitely in the same tone of Man of the Year, where it essentially has nothing to do with the fucking movie and is tonally like, oh yeah, by the way, I think I'm a honeybee. Like it's like a big reveal. Like you watch it and you're like, oh, is he gonna like come out or something? No, nope. He thinks he's an insect. Like that is, I swear to God,
That's
the plot twist
braver.
of the movie.
That's braver than coming out as gay.
And it has nothing to do with them. Like it's like a big reveal. He tells Emily Blunt this. I think they kiss. I don't think they really talk about it ever again.
He like stings her. I'm just like, ooh.
It's so weird. It makes, but leading up to like the reveal, there's like little like hints towards like insect stuff, and like it's not a good film. I wish we were talking about this instead.
This was adapted from a play.
So
somebody originally wrote a play for this, and they're like, I gotta get the film adaptations right. There's bidding war and everything for the film.
What does Chris Walken do in this movie?
I think he's like a.
Is he also a bee?
I don't fucking know. I think he's just like a guy at the pub or something. Like
classic guy.
He is I think Jamie Dornan's father, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
His name is Tony Riley. Is he half Italian?
They're all Irish doing really bad Irish accents.
The
Irish press, this is a trivia on IMDb. The Irish press expressed shock and disappointment for the horrible Irish accents in the film. Jimmy Dornan, I believe, is Irish, correct?
I believe
everybody else
is doing a bad Irish accent.
John Hamm is famously not Irish.
He is American, I think.
Ham is an Irish name. What?
John.
That's great. I'm to check this movie out.
Oh, definitely watch it. It's amazing.
Is it?
No. So it's a good watch.
I can't believe
I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed Man of the Year. So
I can't believe that they actually used thyme, like the herb thyme. That's insane.
Because it attracts pollinators.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I don't know that.
I was like, is that true? I don't. You just give me a tour of your garden. You're more of the expert here than I am.
Just real quick thoughts on Walken before we move on.
He's great. Yeah.
Click as the Bed Bath and Beyond guy.
Very good. Yes. Very silly.
That's like where my brain first goes to, if we're being honest, is Click.
I'll always remember him showing Adam Sandler the remote from Click, really showing him
the Beyond.
Yeah, really emphasizing the stakes of that film, like really just kind of laying the groundwork there.
Just like here. Just like in Man of the Year.
No. Yeah. And he was also in the 2003 film Kangaroo Jack.
Facts.
And Country Bears. Don't forget.
He was in Country Bears and Kangaroo Jack. Those are two movies that definitely existed in the early 2000s. They were released and people saw them.
He says in Country Bears the famous quote at the end of the movie where he says, "I'll get you, bears." Or no, sorry. "This is not over, bears."
Cool.
Does he say that? Is that
he says it straight up, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
He says, all right, I just watch again. He screams, he says, "This is not over, bears." It's like really like delayed, yeah.
Like the
and your damn dirty bears.
And you dirty bears.
Bears. That's neat. I think Kangaroo Jack is probably the best movie of all time. To use the song in the trailer, the bow wow wow yippee yo yippee yo.
Oh, that's it. And then also use it in the movie like 3 different times.
No way, really?
Like
I still
multiple
haven't seen
needle drops of it.
It's really bad. I rated it lower than I rated Man of the Year.
So it's only like one spot lower.
Adam told me something that like
Adam revealed the key to unlock Kangaroo Jack.
Yeah, he said that like apparently it was shot to be an R-rated
movie. Mm-hmm. I have the script. And I've never read it before. Yeah, it's leaked online, but I've been wanting to set up like a reading of it. But
oh my god, we do a dramatic reading of Kangaroo Jack.
We need to do this.
But it was an R-rated like buddy comedy, and then it tested well in terms of like the kangaroo, and then they added a CGI kangaroo but only for in like a dream sequence, because otherwise in the film the kangaroo is just a normal kangaroo. So in the film too there's a lot of like really filthy jokes, and that's why it's like they really were like cutting around it. I don't know if they reshot
it to PG.
Yeah,
exactly.
It was cutting from R to
Jerry
PG
Bruckheimer.
is insane.
Well, and like you said, it's much like Flubber in that like the kangaroo and the flubber is what would draw people and draw kids in particular, but the movie just isn't about. It's about two fucking idiots.
Jeff O'Connell.
Hunter would love to read Anthony Anderson's part.
No, I'm sure that'll go great for all of us, right? Kangaroo Jack is an insane movie. I remember seeing it. I think that's like one of the first movies that I saw as a kid, and I was like, I don't like this.
This is garbage.
Like, like when you're a kid, you just like everything, and that's one of the like Polar Express. I saw this and I was like, I think I have opinions on things. Now.
I feel like I remember Kangaroo Jack being like 70 minutes. Like I remember being like, it can't be over yet. It's not allowed.
I remember disliking the film Good Boy. Y'all remember that?
Yes,
the dog movie.
I hated that.
Good Boy.
Not to be confused with Good Boys, plural, a Good Boy, which I accidentally saw twice in one weekend, being two children in my elementary school class held parties of the same movie. And I remember having critical opinion of that and thinking that wasn't good, You know,
it's funny. I have a similar thing for Wild Hogs. Is that there was two kids at my school that I was friends with, and both of them wanted to go see Wild Hogs, and they did not like each other. So then I had to go to two separate parties to go see Wild Hogs.
Did you like it though?
And then I remember something else, like another family member took me to see Wild Hogs. So I saw Wild Hogs 3 times in theaters, like within like a 2-week span, and I was like, I think I don't like this movie. I think I've seen this movie too many times. Like I didn't hate it as a kid, but I was like, I don't like this movie enough to have seen it the amount of times
once we do the Travolta series.
And listen, I'm ready for it. Hairspray will be talked about on that one. So.
Or Tim Allen, F by F Home Improvement.
Yeah,
I was obsessed with Home Improvement as a kid.
We are going to finish this series.
We cannot do Tim Allen series because we're only doing a Tim Allen series if we also do a whole episode about his talks about how actually Republicans are the most discriminated people in Hollywood right now.
You guys have to step foot in Tim Allen's shoes and smuggle cocaine across the border.
Speaking of politics, this movie takes place in a political landscape. The movie that we're doing.
We want to talk about that still. We're going to segue back into that.
It's funny because you brought up John Kerry, and it is very much like, I feel like even all the way through 2012, we were in an era of just like, we have to have like the most non-insulting, just fucking generic white dude candidates from either party at all times. But I wanted to talk about John Kerry because there's a photo of myself as a child that I have to find and bring up that whenever I was a young child, I looked a lot like book versions and Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone version of Harry Potter. Okay. I had little glasses,
circular.
They were circular, and I was just a little tight. I had my hair kind of like fell a little bit of the same way. And my mom
carved a lightning bolt into your face.
Well, my mom, she took advantage of me, much like many parents in the Hollywood system do. And at a rally for a John Edwards rally, because never forget, it was John Edwards, John Kennedy together.
Kerry.
John Edwards, Kerry.
Kennedy.
Kerry.
When were you? How old are you?
I'm
at a John Kennedy rally.
I'm 67 years old right now.
He went to this rally in Dallas, and
my mom dressed me up and gave me a sign that said Harry for Carrie. And there's a picture of me dressed up as Harry Potter at a John Edwards rally.
Wow.
That's so
and to this day, it's so funny. And I'm like, Mom, you used me. I think
you told this story without the Harry Potter element.
That I just went to a John Edwards, John Kerry rally in 2004.
I didn't realize that there was like a cosplay going on.
Yeah, I was dressed up like Harry Potter going to it. And do you think that would have been better as if there was like a Harry for what rhymes with Dobbs? What's
Dobby?
Dobby
Hobbs. Hobbs. You dress like a tiger. Yeah, you just like a tiger.
No, I thought Hobbs.
Oh, there you go. Okay,
Dwayne The Rock Johnson from
Calvin and Dobbs. Calvin and Dobbs.
No, that's good.
That's something.
Politically, this movie is like there's so joke wise, because a lot of the political musings of the movie come in joke form, because in the beginning of the movie, Walken is sort of trying to encourage Dobbs to lean farther into. He's like, just tell jokes. That's what people like about you. He finally does. Eventually, he goes way fucking overboard. He tells too many fucking jokes. One directorial thing I think that Levinson that falls a little short here is in Good Morning Vietnam. The reactions to Robin being funny, it's something that these movies both share, is like the internal like people laughing when someone's funny, which is not, that's not frequently used in movies at all. In this movie, the jokes are a lot more written than they are in Good Morning Vietnam, and sometimes they're not very
fit into the candidate.
Sometimes they're not very funny, and the reactions are raucous to everything he says from the comedians, like from the funny people that he works with and knows well. They know him so well, they would not be laughing very hard at anything he says.
Are you saying that you didn't like tired of the Democrat Party, tired of the Republican Party, that everybody's like, oh my God,
so
I've never heard that before? This independent will pull at 17% pre-debate.
So there are musings in those jokes. There are some that a lot of them are like passably like Daily Show type jokes. Definitely. Like I'm sure like there was work done by writers of shows like that. But and there are some lines that do contain like an amount of profundity. It's just not the amount that Levinson thinks they have. You know what I mean? Like there are jokes that are like, well, that's a, that would gain traction if someone were to actually say that who was running for president. However, not always. And sometimes when he is needing to be serious as a candidate or as someone in the middle of a scandal, he veers straight into like 4 minutes of stand-up comedy. Well, and it's really frustrating.
So I think that, well, first of all, I think that the outtakes are probably way funnier because you have these sequences of Robin in front of a crowd. He's probably riffing. He's probably just going, they're shooting these stage sequences, rally sequences. Like, give me the outtakes. What's the DVD extras look like? Probably way funnier. But the other thing too is that, like, I think you have a situation where this probably, well, the movie I don't think was very well received at the time either. It was like 20-something% on Rotten Tomatoes. But I think that at the time, maybe people were a little bit more receptive to this kind of stuff. I think that in 2023, we're just so past this kind of humor that it just doesn't work for us at all. Maybe at the time, like, people wanted that taste, like West Wing was ending around this time, like people wanted this hit.
Yeah, and also the the voting system, the idea of that plot line is a bit ahead of its time. And there is things that he's saying did become way more common rhetoric way later on. So like there's an amount that feels a little predictive and impressive. It's just it doesn't gel in the movie. And it gets downright annoying when you consider how the movie ends, which is with the Republican being reelected and everyone's happy.
No, that's the Democrat. Oh, you just can't tell the difference.
Kellogg is the Dem.
You can't tell the difference. That's the thing where like it's funny because I mean, not in exactly the same way, but the whole thing looming over watching this movie now is like kind of the Trump of everything. That like watching the debates, there is actually some general ideas that that Robin is throwing out there for like that is very progressive for its time. They talk about like the fucking 80-year-old woman getting like patted down coming across the border and like all this kind of stuff about opening up borders.
He's
things like that
that everyone's thinking.
He's saying more progressive ideas, but it just kind of all feels different. In a post-Trump world, it sounds like you're just complaining about shit, but not actually offering any solutions to anything, which makes you a bad politician.
It's also
literally anybody can complain about things. What makes a good politician is whenever you actually have ideas for how to fix the things, solutionize things.
And ultimately, like that is the conclusion that Robin comes to as well. But you're right. That
drops out.
Especially the reception to him is so insanely positive that you wonder why he didn't secure more votes. Because, for example, he commandeers a political debate in a way that is like truly annoying. Like that would that couldn't happen.
They would just cut off the mic.
Just let a guy cook like that. And B, that sucks to do.
But do we think that Trump saw that and was like, I can just do this for debates?
Yeah.
And I can just get away with this?
The most annoying part of that to me is it's a direction thing. And I think it was a bad job by Barry. The audience unanimously stands up at the exact same time, every person in the crowd, and starts like uproariously applauding. He's not getting that many votes. And you can't, like, even the best stand-up show doesn't have that level of reaction. So in what world do we want to be existing in something closer to the real world, or are we just in a fantasy? You know what I mean? Because
if we're name dropping West Wing, buddy,
the people do not like, just like the actual fucking results of the election in this movie. People don't stray from party lines like that. People wouldn't like lose themselves in the moment and be like, yes, I'm gonna vote independent, and then leave and be like, actually, probably not. Like, it's just, there's little things like that I just couldn't get fucking immersed.
He's a famous talk show host. Like, they want to just cheer for him because they recognize him. They see him on TV all the time.
I know. It's just
so. Therefore, I vote for you for president. Well, that's the thing, is that if Kanye runs,
I will clap.
Yeah, I'm gonna vote for him. I'll be like, you were my beautiful dark twisted fantasy. Like, of course,
I'm always interested generally with how directors direct crowds, because that's a whole different thing, and a lot of it comes, it'll be actually like the AD,
the
like
second unit,
handling like the big group of people. But a lot of people get it wrong. Like, they'll have people behave in ways that crowds just don't.
It doesn't make sense.
It always fucking bothers me.
A big key problem in this movie, of lots of problems, is that, because they say multiple times, there were only 13 states that allowed Dobbs to get on the ballot, or what's his name? Is it Dobbs?
Yes,
is that
Dobbs.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
That allowed him to actually get onto the ballot. And he won all 13 of those states. That wouldn't raise, like, not a single person in America is questioning that.
I know.
There's exit polls too.
I said this last night. Yeah.
Like,
whenever CNN's covering the election, they'll have someone at all these precincts being like, I've talked to the last 100 people who have left, and X people said X.
Especially because, like, Trump was the first time that polls were like kind of wrong. And even still, it was still within a standard deviation amount of, like, it was wrong. People were off. But, like, if you like look at what just polling numbers, it's not gonna be 100% right, yada yada, stuff like that. People wouldn't just like expect he's gonna get 9 to 10% of the vote, and then he's now the president. That's the most insane thing ever. And an idea that an independent candidate would get 10% of a vote, that in itself is fucking nuts. Like, if you get 1% of the vote, that's a miracle. But if you are just fully going to like win all 13 states that you have to be listed in, then that would cause the biggest mass investigation that's
And I don't want
to
I don't want to sound like we're coming across as like cinema sins here and just overanalyzing when it's just a movie. This movie wants to be smart in a lot of ways, and
that's just not.
So you can't be stupid in ways that fundamental to your plot. Like, it doesn't work.
It really wants to say something, and it has nothing to say.
It really. Truly.
Well, it has things to say that have been said. It doesn't have anything to say.
Yeah, it has daily jokes.
It kind of reminded me, and this is going to be a weird comparison, but what was that movie, that Matt Damon movie that we watched on the
We Bought a Zoo?
Time? No, the one that
Can we just talk about We Bought a Zoo now?
Yeah, let's just talk about that.
Sean, have you seen We Bought a Zoo?
I haven't. No, I've avoided it somehow. Yeah.
You'll never guess what happens. But you can't guess one plot point.
Was it the
ecological movie that we watched for
this podcast?
Yeah, for friend of the pod ask us to watch it on this podcast.
Is it like Blackwater or something like that?
It was.
That's Mark Ruffalo.
It was something like that.
It wasn't No, it wasn't Dark Waters. But it was something
they knew when they covered it up.
Keep vamping. I'm gonna find out what it is.
So a couple things about Man of the Year. It had a
Promised Land.
We did not watch Promised Land.
We watched Promised Land because friend of the pot Brian told us that he loved Promised Land. Or no, I don't think they loved Promised Land, but he brought up Promised Land.
He said it was a movie that exists,
and we watched it. And it was definitely discussed on this podcast.
I did not watch
this movie, but it's the same kind of idea where it's a movie that's supposed to like be saying all this thing about like, man, the ecological like disaster that's happening and all these like big pharma and big farms are taking over everything. And
big pharma and big farms.
But it's very dumb. It's a very, very dumb movie and poorly written. And it's the same kind of thing where it's just like, I think you should leave thing of like, everybody's just so obsessed with their phones, man. We just send each other an emoji.
See, the thing is that in Promised Land, Matt Damon doesn't buy a zoo.
Mm-hmm.
So
is that the problem with Promised Land is that he doesn't buy a zoo?
Okay.
We have to talk about one of the best moments of Man of the Year.
Yeah. What is it?
Robert De Niro and Billy Crystal.
Man,
so what was that?
Great cameo.
Was that?
Okay. So I got excited because I always love when movies have like fake. Like I thought at least it was like a fake movie. No, it was a ad directed by Barry Levinson years earlier for tourism for New York City post 9/11. And so listeners who I hope are not going to watch Man of the Year, essentially it's Billy Crystal dressed as a turkey, Robert De Niro as a pilgrim, and in the ad De Niro says, "Are you gobbling at me?" like in reference to Taxi Driver.
And turkeys.
And turkeys, turkeys across the nation. But yeah, no, that was my favorite part of the movie, and I paused it and looked up the actual ad and was like, yeah, that was pretty good. And I had sent it to a friend of the show, hostess Linney Cannon, my girlfriend Kira, and in the comments, sure enough, it said this was directed by Barry Levinson.
Wow,
that's so cool.
He's reusing shit at this point.
So look that up, audience.
Sean, since you're here,
so
I have to
ask you. Stick to commercials.
Yeah, we should go back and we should tell that kid to like tone it down a hair.
And his son should stick to directing nothing. But
Sean should stick to just like
The Idol coming soon.
His son should stick to just at least not writing.
Stick to Woman of Age.
You know, here's the thing: is that he does know how to.
I'm calling my shot there. It's gonna happen,
brother. Friend of the pod guy is right there with you for that. He's good at making things look pretty, and maybe he shouldn't write things. Sean, I have to ask you a question because you're the closest thing that we have to a link to Zillennial canon here. Is getting with your boys and having like a big old paintball shootout with each other Zillennial? Is paintballing Zillennial?
I feel like it is.
I've never seen like in 2020s like a new movie is just like everybody's like, oh, let's like dress up in camo and go into the woods and shoot paintballs at each other.
That was it was definitely like a thing where
and that's like a
classic. The kids in school, like the annoying weird kids would be, you know, I'm going paintballing this week, and I'd be like, what? Yeah. What is that? Like, I don't even like until this day. Like, I'm aware of what it is. But,
yeah, I know. At the time, rich kids, but like growing up, you're like, wow, that kid's parents didn't stop them from doing anything.
Like, dude, what if we did like Call of Duty in real life, except not actually enlisting in the military?
It's more Zillennial to like throw paint balls, like no guns, no equipment. Just like you have a paintball and you throw it at each other.
So listen, I asked this question because my birthday is coming up and Gaia asked me, what do you want to do for your birthday? And I did for half a second. I was like, do you think I could get my friends in my late 20s to like go out and just go paintballing with me? Because I've never done paintballing before.
So and none of you have done paintballing.
I will drop you off and I will not not engage to have fun. I will not engage myself personally.
I have never done paintballing. The closest thing that I have to that was essentially at a paintball place at the height of the success of like The Walking Dead. They had a bunch of weird like space that they were able to build essentially what the layout of a haunted house would be. And instead of like the twist of like what the haunted house was that you were allowed to carry I guess it's like airsoft guns. It was at a paintball place because what is the difference between it? One shoots air, one shoots paintball.
One shoots tiny little BBs,
little pellets that just like bruise you but don't have like the messiness of paint.
Yeah, but they hurt.
Okay. they hand you some type of gun, whether it be an empty paintball gun or an airsoft gun, but it would physically shoot like air only. Like you'd feel like the pop of it, and it was like essentially like zombie laser tag, but with like a haunted house, but you were holding like guns.
That's the farthest I've ever done. Get shot by these things?
No, not at all. Yeah, it was just like air. It was good.
It sounds like the fun of paintballing without the consequence of like just being like covered in paint or having
because it's not just like you're crouching down in the woods. You're like seeing theming and like I don't know, like scares and zombies and stuff. Yeah.
Why did they play paintball in this movie?
Well, because we have to have another scene of Laura Linney not telling him.
Well, and also we have
that she's responsible or she knows about him fraudulently weighing out.
The thing is, they're trying to cram that plot line of her like wanting to tell him. And at the same time, though, this has to be the character development of like we have to see chemistry and romance because otherwise we don't really see it. So like he is just like obsessed with this woman who all she does when she's around him is go, it's just no, you don't understand. I don't have a drug problem. No. Well, not quite. And like someone's like, sir, we have to go now.
I have so many questions, but I forgot about that, to be honest. About they just shoot her up with like barbiturates, cocaine, meth, and then she
goes and has the funniest meltdown of all time at work.
And it's honestly like that scene made me want to turn off this movie and just like it was like, could I get away for just like not actually watching this movie and just reading a Wikipedia summary?
That was that scene's horribly embarrassing, and I think it ruins the movie from there forward.
It truly is as a turning point in the movie.
It was like Lynchian.
I thought that her acting was amazing. The scene does not fit into the movie at all.
It's just silly because like Levinson has no idea how to pace scenes at all. So it goes on for too long and you get what's going on. Like you get like she's acting up because there's some amount of shit in her system and like this is how they axe her. But like it's just like a painful few minutes of her like
it just belongs in a different movie. I think my whole point is like all of those scenes, I think you could extract them as is, maybe clean them up, like punch up the dialogue a little bit,
please,
and they would exist really well in a thriller. If Robin Williams wasn't the main character and it was a Laura Linney movie about like election fraud and like faulty voting technology, it would be a solid little movie, you know? But I think the draw of this movie is the Robin Williams, the political comedy side of it, maybe a little bit of the romance of it, which I think is the weakest part.
Yeah, but they don't spend time together.
Also, we've had this issue before in Robin Williams things. Robin is not a good romantic partner
unless he's with Nathan Lane.
Yeah. No, like really, like
that's fair.
Robin. I think Robin is like
that's the best one.
We always will criticize people like Tom Cruise and stuff like that for like, oh, they don't have chemistry with anything. Robin Williams doesn't really have any chemistry with any women in any movie. Like he just in this movie, he seems like he's like 15 years too old to be with Laura Linney.
Yeah, it's a little tough.
It's weird.
Yeah,
like,
I don't even think it's his fault. He just is. He's really only looks like a monkey.
And
he has such a big personality, so it's like seeing him with somebody else. It's hard to find like compassion and like believability when he's in a movie, he's the star of the movie.
You need him to have the energy of like Steve Carell and Anchorman, where it's like if we're gonna if we're gonna like find a romantic partner with this person, we need to find somebody else who's like just on the same exact energy as this human being, and there kind of wasn't really throughout Robin's heyday.
The way that it's written in this movie, though, there's no one that could do this because there is no basis for him to be interested in her. He's like, yeah, I know I'm about to be president like tomorrow. I don't care if you have an insane drug problem.
Still just want you to like come to paintball and
that doesn't make any
Thanksgiving
sense.
Day with all my friends.
Yeah, we are given zero reasons for them to have chemistry. Like we know she likes his comedy, but so does fucking everyone apparently.
I know. I know that. I've been thinking about that throughout this, like as we've been hitting the end here of just. You're right, Ernie. Except for Nathan Lane, when has Robin had a romantic chemistry with another human being?
In what?
Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting.
They're shipped.
Okay, that's very problematic for the.
Well, also he's like a teacher
of age.
the doctor-patient relationship. Okay, here let's fly through these. Okay, Genie and Aladdin. Peter Pan and Tinkerbell.
He has a romantic partner in Toys, and it does not work at all. It's really bad, and that's like a problem.
Jack and Jennifer Lopez.
Jesus.
Yes. Facts.
There we go. That's the where he's a 10-year-old boy with
that works.
His wife that he abandons in Flubber at the altar multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Patch Adams.
Bicentennial Man. There's a love interest in that, and whoa, boy!
I think the closest that
his relationship in Bicentennial Man is with actually his original love granddaughter.
God.
That's not problematic at all.
Sean, have you seen Bicentennial Man?
Sean, you have to Bicentennial Man. It might be
worse
like,
than this.
It might be like one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
Sean is regretting guesting on We Bought a Mic.
The closest
telling him to watch all these awful movies.
The closest we've gotten to chemistry is RV, because I think him and Cheryl do have like a couple who's been together for too long, and like they still have a great dynamic, even if it's not like
they have a dynamic, but it's not like a chemistry.
Robots. Aunt Fanny.
Facts.
Everybody. Here's the thing. Everybody got chemistry with Aunt Fanny.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Aunt Fanny wants to go with Mel Brooks.
Yeah,
it's his aunt.
I really wish you guys watched 9 Months, which is another Christopher Columbus Robin collab.
What movie?
I think
9 Months.
I think he has like a one scene cameo in that movie.
I think he's in it for more than.
What about Popeye? Does he have chemistry with Shelley Duvall? And
well, the thing is, they're not trying with him in most of these movies, because it's not like it's Tom Cruise where like they're like, yeah, he's a good looking guy. Like we're giving him a role that requires him to link up with a woman. You know, he's not like that most of the time.
But
like,
he doesn't even have like the subtle. I think it's just because. Sean, you're right. Like he just has too big of a personality, and like even in like the subtler Robin roles, like he kind of can't help but let his personality come out a little bit. And I mean, to be frank, women in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s weren't really given big personality roles and things, especially not to have like a love interest in a movie. So you can't find the matching energy to actually go with Robin.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, I want to get to the categories, but real quick, I just wanted to say that this movie had a $20 million budget, grossed $41 million at the box office.
A hit.
Solid hit.
Made money.
Roger Ebert did not review this movie. He skipped right over it. But
this is 06, Raj. So he's getting ornery. He's getting at the end of his rope here.
We do have some quotes from some other critics over here on the Wikipedia page. Josh Larson of Sun Publications said, "What is it about Robin Williams that he often appears in these wild misfires, pictures that are so full of promise yet disastrous in execution?"
Yeah, I think that's very accurate.
That encapsulates a lot of this series.
It's been a lot of especially the last like 7 to 10 episodes of this have been just like, in theory, there's a lot that would pull you to it. This is a Barry Levinson political comedy. Like it's a lot of stuff that would bring you to it, broad overview, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, it's like, I think when we look back on this series, it's going to be like less than a 50% hit rate.
Yeah,
overall, I would not have expected that going in.
It's I mean, a good chunk of it is because he like the way he picks roles isn't guessing what's going to be successful. Like that definitely is just, it's not the biggest factor for him. And that's, you know, in all of the little like press clippings and like IMDb trivias, that comes up so often, is like, yeah, he just really fucked with the vision.
Yeah, it's all about vision, or it's all about like, I really want to work with this filmmaker.
Yeah, and Barry is, it's the opportunity to just like do whatever whatever Robin wants. Obviously, Robin's politics, you know, they overlap with a lot of what's going on in this movie.
Well, also Robin Williams equals president. That's a pitch for a movie right there. Like
they're like, here's $20 million.
It's not very complicated.
Yeah, but Robin also isn't, you know, he's not delving super far into like actually genuinely producing like movies. Like he plays he'll play heavy roles in things that he's passionate about, but he isn't like the behind the scenes string puller that like, that a lot of actors have become, like someone like Brad Pitt, for example,
exactly,
where like he he'll be on both sides equally. He didn't have that in him, to be honest.
The Wikipedia also mentions that this film would be seen as prescient with the election of TV comedians to presidency in both Guatemala, President Jimmy Morales in 2017, and Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky in 2019.
Whatever happened to that guy?
Yeah, I think
that was a big talking point. I feel like that this movie kept coming up when all that had begun. And it was definitely something where it made me think, oh wow, a lot of people remember that movie. Like I just didn't. And truly, like I remember the poster. I was probably definitely too young to see it, or I probably wasn't, because it's the kind of movie that, is it rated R?
Yeah,
maybe. Okay,
it is,
but still, it's not like there's
soft
R. Oh, it's PG-13. It's PG-15.
It's PG-13,
but still, there's nothing remotely that me in 6th grade in 2006 might have been interested in this either. You know what I mean? Like, so, but it makes me be like, oh wow, a lot of people did. Like,
sure.
Does this movie have a lasting impact? Question mark.
Well, like you said, Sean, it's fucking everywhere, and there are a lot of people who will just see something and say that looks interesting, which this does.
Yeah,
Robin,
put it on.
Robin on the poster. Click.
Yeah, well, this was
that's true.
I don't know if you had a similar thing with this too, Sean, but this is a classic, like a blockbuster, like end stage blockbuster movie gallery. You just poster you just see the poster, and it's just like, oh. There you go.
Yeah.
That's why I literally
your rental.
I thought that this was a different movie, but I definitely did see this poster all the time. I do want to ask one question. It's this new original idea that I want to work out for you guys. No podcast has ever done this before, but I'm gonna call it, Apex Mountain. Is this the Apex Mountain for Lewis Black in 2006?
No.
Let me bring up. So he was on Black on Broadway in 2004.
Wow.
Which was like kind of his like big, I'm Lewis Black, I'm like the prescient political comedian. This is before Jon Stewart really rising to like apex political power, and also Bill Maher kind of on the other side of things. He is also in the year 2006 in Accepted.
No way.
This
is what I was asking Drew last night. Like, was Lewis Black in movies? Like, I feel I saw him in this. I was like,
he was in the Justin Long masterpiece Accepted.
Okay,
so that's all that I have to say. That was in the year 2006.
Because he's not bad in this. Like, I like watching him on screen.
Yeah, great voice.
He's okay in this.
No, Apex
he's
Mountain,
far from the problem in this.
Apex Mountain for Lewis Black is definitely Inside Out, where he plays anger.
He is as anger. Yeah, that is true.
Career wise, though, you're right, Hunter.
Yeah, like this is at the height. Him at the height of his powers.
Yeah, he was cooking.
He was really ahead of the curve as far as being like a prescient, like a political comedian in the 2000s. He was like ahead of the curve on just like criticizing the Iraq War.
Yeah,
there you go.
Makes sense why he was in this movie.
Yeah.
Okay, this movie was nominated for one award. There's only one award listed in IMDb. It was nominated in 2007 for the Political Film Society Award.
I always talk about we always reference, we do a ballot every year to try and select the poll.
It lost to Sophie Skoll, The Final Days.
What?
The fuck
also lost to a not real movie.
No, it looks like a documentary about Nazi, like Hitler. Oh wait, no, that's not a documentary. Anyway.
Oh, speaking of, well, I guess this is a good transition into the categories right here.
Real quick, box office. All right. So this movie premiered at number 3 at the box office, $12 million.
What? When in 2006 was this released?
October 13th, Friday the 13th, 2006. Sean, let's try to guess the number 1 movie of the weekend. It is a horror sequel.
Is it a Friday the 13th remake?
No.
Did that come out that day? Okay.
That was my thought too.
Yeah, just because I feel like there's
The Ring 2.
You're very close.
The Grudge 2?
Yes.
Grudge 2. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The Grudge 2 opens to $20 million. Number 2 at the box office is an Academy Award winning film in its second weekend. This is 2006.
So no. Continue.
2006 by a master filmmaker.
Zodiac.
Academy Award
You're right.
film.
By math.
It won Best Picture?
Yes. Come on, Hunter.
The Departed.
Yeah.
I was doing the math in my head. There you go.
Also hanging in here, open season and its third weekend.
That is the only one on this list that I did see in theaters.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Beginning.
Okay.
The Marine opens its run at number 6.
It's legendary run.
The Guardian. What is The Guardian?
That is
that's another
as a Coast Guard person
in its third weekend.
Do you have a lot of thoughts on The Guardian you wanna preach?
Yeah, I mean, why is no one queuing me up? Thank you, Hunter.
Yeah, okay. Why don't you pop off on The Guardian? We'll give you a quick 45.
No, because then this podcast we have to end this.
Employee of the Month.
Yo, now Employee of the Month. That is a movie that I've definitely seen more than 10 times in my life and is like a 1-star movie. It's like a really bad. It's one of those movies that and Good Luck Chuck are movies that like I've seen the most and like the least.
Yeah. Something called One Night with the King. Jackass number 2.
The best Jackass movie.
In its 4th weekend. Jackass number 2 with 68 million.
Yeah.
Dude, Jackass 2
it was
rules. Great. That is top tier.
That's looking good.
Great.
Is that the one with the musical number?
Yes, that's the musical closer, right?
Yeah. That is the best one.
That's
And the Illusionist.
Cool.
Any Ed Norton, the Illusionist heads out there?
Better than the Prestige.
The Prestige knockoff.
Yeah, that was like that's. Boy, oh boy.
All right.
Sounds like a bleak week at the movies.
No, man, we are all out there for Man of the Year.
I'm rolling it on my. No, you know those weekends when you had like a Grudge 2 Man of the Year double feature. Oh, brother.
The Departed and Jackass are the only things that sounded remotely okay, and everything else has just really shown that it had not stood the test of time at all.
How many people shot themselves in the head after seeing open season?
I almost wanted to, and I was 11. So,
okay, categories, categories. The first category is what is the best Robinism?
So I have a couple nominees that I want to put out here. The first one is I mentioned it earlier, but it's the when the press is storming him as he's leaving the hotel or whatever it is, and they're asking him a billion questions, and it's just Robin riffing. It's the he says Italy just elected a porn star of their Senate, which is wonderful because that means no sex scandals, just great posters and incredible downloads.
That's a good one.
He also says, I had sex with a prostitute when I was 21. I was so bad she gave me a refund. That's a really good one. I also I think it's during the debate.
Yeah, that's mine.
He has a line that says, movie quotes just disappeared from. Okay. Remember those 2 Jewish commandos who were sent to kill Hitler at 12:30? They waited in an alley with guns, bombs, and knives. Only Hitler didn't show up. After half an hour came and went, still no Hitler. Finally, one Jew turns to the other and says, my God, I hope nothing happened to him.
Okay, so I need to just chime in about that. Is that there was a documentary called, I think it was called The Last Laugh, that I had seen coincidentally also at Tribeca Film Festival, and it was about specifically about Holocaust jokes with Mel Brooks and Rob Reiner, and Gilbert Gottfried told that joke to open the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's just a Robin joke.
I don't think it's an original Robin joke.
No, that's a classic. That's an old standard.
That gets
50s type joke.
Robin. It's no longer allowed to be a Robin.
Yeah,
then
Gilbert loves those. Robin does a lot of those, and I think easily the best of all time is Norm at those.
Norm does. Yeah, Norm was the best at everything.
He would. Yeah,
Norm's delivery is just the best.
If you haven't seen the roast of Bob Saget, it's just him telling 1950s jokes and no one in the audience liking it, and it's really cool.
My Robinism pick is that whole debate sequence, because the whole beginning of this movie, I'm wondering what the fuck is happening? Why are we fast forwarding to him already being a candidate? why aren't we seeing Robin being a talk show host?
It's so stupid. Dude.
Like I was just my brain was broken, and the whole time I'm like, okay, let's see where this goes, and then we get this debate where he just goes off, and I'm like, okay,
yeah, that's one of the only scenes
clicks.
where I feel like I'm in a movie.
Right. It's like it was all leading to the set piece with the debate. And I felt like, okay, my worries were satiated for a while there. And that he, I could tell that for the most part, I know it's very written and pulling from all these things, but for the most part, it is Robin doing his thing as a candidate. So that's my pick. But
for me, it's the press conference about his scandal, which he says one line about the scandal, and then all of his material following has nothing to do with it at all. It's not even related material. That's true, Robin.
What about you, Sean? Best Robin?
I'm gonna go with the poster.
And that's going to be our winner. What's the next category?
It's a great one.
Not even the movie. Because the movie, like, I watched this movie and I think, like, what?
He's sitting in the car wearing that outfit.
And he talks to the Senate in that outfit. They show him on C-SPAN doing the bit, and he does a couple jokes up there.
It's a good poster.
Yeah. But well, because I watched this movie and I'm like, he could be better. Sorry if that's harsh, but
I think it's fair.
What is the best moment in the whole movie?
Probably everything with Laura Linney, specifically
look,
her emotional breakthrough.
Oh my god,
I thought that was very earned.
I don't hate Laura Linney in this movie.
I do.
The Billy Crystal De Niro thing is my favorite moment.
Okay, no, that's a good one.
Not like a clip from not even the movie.
The most freestanding moment in the movie.
I do have a thing. I meant to say it earlier about that specific moment. Is whenever that scene was shown at that point, that comes in a real lull in the movie where I was just fucking bored.
Me too.
And to be honest, I would just start looking on my phone.
Yeah,
and
me too.
I heard De Niro's voice, and I was like, "Wait, what?" And then I had to rewind back 45 seconds just so I could see that sequence.
My favorite moment is when Robin and Chris Walken are walking down the road together, and Chris Walken inexplicably becomes ill. That was the moment where, because we were talking about me and Ernest were talking about had he done Blow with Sorkin and decided to write this movie, and this is the most let's throw in another fucking plot line. Who cares? Yeah, he's dying. Sure. We don't have enough going on.
No, but that's the shot, and the chaser to that is him just smoking a cigarette in the house. It's too late to quit now.
My favorite moment in this movie was when it ended and we put on the trailer for The Fly.
Yeah,
afterwards.
That was good.
Okay, all right.
So what's the next category?
What would you do?
What would you? So
who are we,
fellas?
Yeah,
you are a very successul television host, and you decide that you're running for president.
Mm-hmm.
What you doing?
I'm definitely dipping. I don't want to be the president. Absolutely not.
The thing is that I would want to get nominated and be like, you guys are fucking idiots. I'm not going to be your president, but this more reflects as a negative thing on you.
If I'm Linney,
that's the better.
So I found the glitch. And the pressure is on me to shut up about it. Dobbs is the president because of the glitch. I'm shutting the fuck up.
You're getting paid off. They literally are going to pay her off.
Well, also let's just get crazy with it.
Get drugged though.
Let's have this insane guy who I like in the movie. Let's let him be the fucking president. And hush hush.
Just a quick little note about the movie too is that the fact that it is a glitch that he just doesn't win. There's no indication in the movie that there's people that really don't like him.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the crowds are going crazy for him.
That's one of the biggest problems with the movie. Is that he needs to have haters.
There's no discourse.
There's no haters in this.
No. It's plausible that he was to win, and nobody is questioning it because everyone seems to like him.
Yeah.
When in reality, maybe 1 out of every 10 people actually voted for this guy. That's optimistic.
It would make way more sense if the company had taken advantage of the glitch to rig it in Kellogg's favor, and she has to get to Dobbs to tell him that he actually won.
Well, that was originally what I thought the way that the first scene that's Christopher Walken narrating it almost sets up that version of the movie.
Yeah,
and almost sets like
Dobbs
actually won the movie and Kellogg got rigged.
Yeah,
that's also a more interesting movie than the movie that we get.
But
then it just becomes double B's, double L's, double.
Well, that's
G's.
why that was the stupidest thing. That made no sense.
No, it does not. I still can't wrap my head around it.
No, because here's the thing: like, no one can wrap their head around. That's also
so stupid.
That's not how coding works. Coding doesn't just grab if you have double letters and suddenly it goes alphabetical.
They do say the word mainframe in this.
I'm gonna change my name to Sean, but spelled with 2 N's, so that I automatically win everything.
You have to say it with 2 A's, because then you'll be at number 1.
Right.
Yeah, you'll be first in line.
Yeah.
So it's not a glitch. It's just outright like their software is doing something that like you could learn how to code in intro to coding class. Like put this in ABC order based on double letters.
So if I'm
That's not a glitch.
If I'm Jeff Goldblum, I get into a machine that is going to teleport me, but a little fly gets stuck inside the machine, and then I turn the machine on, and I turn into a disgusting like creature that has mixed my DNA with the fly's DNA.
Nice.
Okay.
So that's what I would do.
So you would do. If I was Jeff Goldblum, I would say pass.
Oh
yeah,
I would just pass on the script. I would read the script. I'd say like, wait, so you want me to only be in like 3 scenes? This is the dialogue I'm getting. And then you're telling me that I'm going to be like covered in shadows. So you won't even be able to tell that it's me in this movie. I'm just going to pass. Yeah. I'm just going to pass on the script is what I'm going to do.
That, they should have shelved the whole movie. That's how I feel. And I will say
you're Barry Levinson and you
write this script and you just click delete and it says like, would you like to save? And you say no.
Stop while you're ahead. I meant to mention this earlier on IMDb trivia. It mentioned that there was a German dub of this movie that was apparently just really, really, really bad. And there was complaints about just how poor quality it was. And they shelved the movie and then re-released it on DVD in spring of 2008. Okay. We got to watch the German dub.
What if like they thought that the dub was bad, but it was just like
the movie?
They're like these can't be the lines. This must be a bad translation.
Wait, no, we got to be missing Laura Linney scenes. Like there has to be some scenes that were just unable to be translated or something like that.
Next category. What do we got? The Day After.
The day, I mean, Christopher Walken gives us like the fucking millennium after with his little monologue at the end. He tells us everything that
he gets invited to be a cast member on SNL.
Here's the thing: the day after, America goes in like full QAnon chaos, because
insurrection.
If it was actually like the government and society, it just got acknowledged that the election was rigged. Like, do you know how annoying? Remember how annoying it was when Trump and like one small vocal minority was saying that the election was rigged? If then that was just public knowledge.
I know
that would be true chaos.
It would destroy everything.
That would destroy America. Like that is the worst thing.
So the day after is the end of the world.
It's the end of America.
It's especially annoying because it wasn't even rigged. It was just wrong. Like it's not like someone was using it to their advantage in any way.
Yeah.
So. I mean, yeah, he goes on SNL. He's like, this is all a lie. Everyone's like, okay, we believe you.
Yeah. I like Tina Fey and Amy Poehler.
Laura,
nice.
You know how you break news on a Weekend Update?
Laura Linney becomes a producer on his show.
That was so stupid.
That is so funny.
I didn't even pick that up.
Yeah, that's mentioned by Walken. He's like, yeah, she became a producer on his show and then his lover. It's like they could have just been lovers. That's fine. We don't know anything about her skill set. So
I mean, Barry Levinson definitely got like some secondhand crack from Aaron Sorkin while writing this.
It's nuts. And he was trying to do the Sorkin thing of like taking 10 showers a day, you know. So I don't even know where the movie ends because it ends after a Walken monologue that like skips months and years.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Endings.
Oh no, well, so it ends with Kellogg as president and everyone's like, yay, and it's great because Dobbs pushed him to be a better man.
Right.
That's fucking stupid and bad.
That's also not how politicians work.
So the day after all of that,
send in the nukes.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, literally, like Iraq keeps happening. Like It's I don't know.
They like figure out drone technology, and they're like, we should probably like continuously bomb the Middle East.
A little guy named John
tricks.
Kerry steps onto the scene.
Yeah, like fucking Obama. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Good Robin or bad Robin?
I personally think that Robin is really good in this movie.
I think so too.
I don't want to say great. It's not great Robin, but I think this is really good Robin.
It's on the edge. It's on the
material that he has in this, I think that he is really good. I think that he is doing what he needs to do.
What do you think, Sean?
He is good. I just think like it's hard for me to look at his performance and be like, wow, he was great, because that's giving some merit to the movie. And I can't. I just can't.
You don't want to give any merit.
No, I can't. I can't. Yeah. So I don't think he's terrible. Like I don't think there's, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys have watched far more than me, but I don't think there's a Robin Williams performance that truly is terrible. I just think the movies themselves can be really bad.
Brother, there's some terrible Robin performances. There's some performances. Awakenings comes to mind where it's like, this is a lot of it is just like gross miscasting of Robin.
Sure.
It's people not understanding what Robin's got. Because when you ask Robin, he's not Denzel. Like he's not somebody who's a chameleon and who's great at everything that he does. Yeah. And so you can just grossly miscast him in things. And this is using Robin. I think that Robin is actually like, I think that he is borderline great in this movie up until the last act, whenever he suddenly is supposed to be a conflicted character throughout the entire movie, because you aren't getting that throughout the rest, the first part of the movie.
You get one shot of him looking pensive alone, and then you get one line of him talking to Kellogg saying
he's
that, like you didn't underestimate
audience
me.
As you remembered me sitting in the Oval Office chair 7 minutes ago, I had a lot of time to think since then.
Well, I took a phone call and didn't pay attention to where I was sitting.
Stupid fucking movie.
What good is this bad?
I think it's pretty good Robin. I don't think that anyone else would have saved the movie, so
no.
How many Robins out of 10?
So this is intensity. This isn't quality, Sean. So what would you go with in terms of the intensity of the Robin name?
The mania,
so
warmth.
It's both intensity of Robin, so like how zany he is, and also warmth, because that's another Robin thing, is that like he's kind of like he's your uncle who like you want to see.
Hairy uncle.
It's
sure. Yeah. I'd say like a 6. I feel like he's been crazier, but I mean his monologue at the debate makes me want to go higher, but for this sake, I think that I don't know, it just isn't. I guess maybe because he is confounded to doing like stand up and not just being off the walls through the whole time. Like I think that it's just kind of I don't know, his performance is not as crazy as it could be. Like he's playing a normal person, you know what I mean? He has warmth to him, but he's playing just like a normal guy that's also kind of witty. He's playing like a 6.
Yeah, he's playing a guy with one type of comedy.
You wouldn't vote for Tom Dobbs. He wouldn't have your vote. You'd like the guy, but you wouldn't vote for him.
I don't know if I would vote for him. I don't know what that. Here's the thing: is I don't know what Kellogg's and Mills are like, because they don't tell you.
What if Kellogg is like an incredible president? And
they don't tell you.
Fucking everything up.
That was another complaint I had. Was like, had Kellogg's and Mills just be cast as like other actors who were like on the same caliber as Robin Williams, then maybe the movie would have been interesting. Maybe the movie would have been like, both, they're just kind of nothingness.
Yeah,
right.
That's a great call.
I don't know if I would vote for Dobbs. Like, we don't really learn that much about him.
I know.
Once again, I would not vote for a politician who just complains about things, because you know what I can do right now is complain about how things are bad. And that doesn't mean that I would be a good politician, because I don't have solutions to things that are feasible.
I'd put this a little bit lower. I'd probably give this a 5 on the Robin scale.
I'll go.
I was gonna give it like a 6.5.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 7, just because he's
good. He's doing Robin bits.
He's doing a lot of Robin. It's just like we've seen a 10 before. It's definitely not
right.
He's not very warm in this movie. It's more classic Robin, where I feel like we've been moving away from zany Robin and into warm Robin. This kind of feels like a throwback to more zany Robin and not so much warm.
I just think that the movie, I knock my score down because the focus of the movie shifts away from him. Like it becomes more of a Laura Linney movie, and that hurts his standing in the story. You want more from him, and you don't really get it as the movie goes on.
So what's
last category? Recaging couch. Where is Nicolas Cage in this movie?
So this is going to involve a rewrite But could we put Nick Cage in the Jeff Goldblum role?
Absolutely.
As the crony and just like have him like
would make much more sense.
Cage, though, personally, like I want him like wearing leather gloves and personally trying to strangle Laura Linney throughout this movie. Like him just trying to kill her with his own hands. That's where I want Nick Cage in
that's
this.
the pick.
I think he would be really, really funny in the Laura Linney role.
Yeah.
It's just like
I agree.
Could you imagine Nick Cage's freak out while getting like we're like Nick Cage? So you got shot up with barbiturates, cocaine, meth, heroin.
He's like, yeah, but what about in the movie?
With it. And you just took the biggest whiff of your toes are just sitting.
And you want a coffee. Go ahead.
And go.
No, yeah, Cage. I think you could also, I don't know, Walken, like that role doesn't necessarily have to be old, but I think it's aided by being someone who's like more of a lower energy force to Robin.
I don't want to lose Lewis Black, but I think you could slot Cage in there too.
So, but recasting in general.
Wait, did you guys see the Wikipedia?
No.
Did you see the Wikipedia, Sean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is a good one. This is a good one, guys. Okay, so Barry Levinson actually had a first pick before he.
I did see this. I did.
What?
Yeah.
And it was Howard Stern.
Oh my God.
Howard fucking Stern was Barry Levinson's first choice, and it did not work out.
So thank God for that.
Due to scheduling conflicts,
we somehow got the better film.
Scheduling conflicts because they actually decided to bring an actor to play in the movie.
I think Howard Stern in this role would probably be one of the worst movies ever made.
Yeah.
It would be like the most dog shit.
That would be nuts. I can't even. Oh my God.
Jesus
but somehow
Christ.
like more watchable, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Parabola Theory.
Yeah, it would come across as more of like a fucking Tom Green or like Carrot Top movie.
Right.
You know, it would be an entire novelty as opposed to just a bad movie.
Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts on Man of the Year? Robin,
don't watch it.
I do
really
think,
bad.
because I don't know, we glossed over if anybody else could pay the Robin part. I think the problem with this is that I think given the script that we have, without rewriting the script itself, I think Robin does as good of a job in this role as anybody else could.
Yeah.
The problem is that this role is just a bad role, and this movie is just a poorly written movie. Like, we need to fix this movie from the ground up. There's a lot of movies that we talk about where it's like, oh, you just tweak a thing here, tweak a thing there, and then it becomes great.
Hey,
this just needs to be split off into two movies, or
miniseries.
Or we delete the entire script and we bury this.
I think it would work as a miniseries.
If this was in the 90s, Billy Crystal 1,000%.
In the Robin role?
Yeah.
Sure.
Because it has to be someone who's good at monologuing.
Yeah.
Like first and foremost. He'd be perfect.
I like that.
Okay. Before we end the podcast, I did go to the Guardians press screening. So I did want to give some quick thoughts on the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Oh, boy.
You excited for this, Sean?
I am. I'm seeing it on Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just saw this movie. I'm not going to give away any plot details, but I wanted to take this opportunity here before we close out to give my contractually obligated thoughts on James Gunn's dark masterpiece.
Okay.
I think that Marvel's in a tough spot right now. Because they are on what seems to be a downturn, and they need this movie to be good. I don't know if this is exactly the kind of movie that's going to save Marvel from the current state that they're in, but I do think that it is a fun movie. I like this movie. I really like this movie. I don't think it's gonna fix the problems that they currently have. I'm honestly kind of shocked that they let James Gunn make this movie. This is a nasty movie.
I was gonna say, this movie obviously can't fix the MCU's problem because James Gunn is fucking gone after this movie. So even if this movie was a masterpiece, he ain't fixing their problems because he won't be around anymore.
I famously predicted that James Gunn would be rehired to make this movie when he was fired. We did a podcast when they announced that he had been let go because of his old tweets, and I predicted that he would be back. He came back, and I think that the reason why they let him get so weird with this movie is as a kind of I'm sorry of the trouble there.
Sorry for you saying F slurs in your old tweets, James.
And he gets really fucking weird with this movie. This is kind of a gruesome and violent movie. I think that
it is gruesome.
Oh, gruesome. It's a lot of this movie is just kind of Rocket Raccoon's backstory, and
that's not selling me on anything.
It shows it in a lot of detail, and there is a lot of heart to it. There's a lot of emotion to it, but you can tell a lot about what this movie's going from the way it starts, where volume 2 starts with a musical number set to ELO's oh my God, why am I Mr. Blue Sky?
Mr. Blue Sky.
This starts with an acoustic Radiohead Creep.
Okay.
So that's as like far on the opposite end as you could get, you know, where you have Baby Groot dancing to Mr. Blue Sky, and then you have
adult Groot cutting himself, cutting his limbs.
It's Rocket Raccoon.
Does Rocket Raccoon talk about how actually throughout his life Leonard Bernstein was really more of a father figure to him?
Oh my God.
He does.
His father figure himself.
Yes.
Okay, cool. As long as we have that now, you sold me back in.
I think there's a lot to love in this movie. I think that if you want something that's made by an actual filmmaker and not Peyton Reed go to jail for fucking filming everything in front of the volume. I'm sure he tried his best, but you never know what goes on with these things. James Gunn, like, he made an actual movie here, and it has its issues, you know, it has its clunk, but he cares a lot about these characters, and he wants to, you know, kind of give them their due and give them their conclusion as much as he can. It's more of a goodbye for him than it is for the Guardians. I have my quibbles. I don't want to get into specifics, but it's a weird movie, and more than anything, it just kind of like it kind of pushed me back a little bit of like, holy shit, I did not expect Marvel would let a movie like this get made. It's more similar to what James Gunn did with the Suicide Squad, which is that's a gross, nasty movie.
A movie that doesn't really work, but I think where it does work is only because of James Gunn.
Yeah. I did predict this movie to be the top grossing movie of the summer, and I'm very worried about that prediction.
Oh,
people like Guardians more than
I know they do. Yeah, I know they do, but this movie is fucking weird, man. I'm telling you. I think a lot of people are going to have a hard time with how far this movie pushes the PG-13 a little far. Like, you do not take little ones to this movie. I'm a full grown, like, 29-year-old man, and I had a hard time looking at some of the shit in this movie. I don't like animals in peril, man.
Oh yeah. If there's animals in peril, that's like a weak point for you.
It's fucking tough, man.
A lot of animals in peril.
It's intense. So be aware.
Well, thank you for that warning, Ernest. I'm excited for this movie. I guess that's the word for it. I don't know. It's every year there's, because of having an early May birthday movie, I always have like an early summer movie released on my birthday weekend or on my birthday week. And this is the birthday movie this year. So like, I'm going to go see this because I have to see it because it's coming out on my fucking birthday. And I like James Gunn. I have some problems with Suicide Squad. To be honest, Suicide Squad didn't really work for me all the way, but the things about that did work is just kind of James Gunn is good at putting a camera in people's faces and letting them do stuff.
He's like, a good director.
He just like, we're just going to make this like a Harley Quinn movie for like half the movie just because we have the abilities of Margot Robbie right here. Like, just some good stuff.
Just shift your expectations. Know that this is something a lot darker than the two previous Guardians movies. It's not as like wacky fun as those two movies. It is going for something a little bit more kind of heavy. But I do think it's good. I think there's a lot to like in there. And Bradley Cooper is Rocket Raccoon. He's
neat.
Fucking great. Fucking cool. Knocks it out.
Maestro himself.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's it. I think we did it. I think we elected Dobbs. Any final thoughts on anything? Sean, any plugs you want to give? Any seltzer recommendations?
Yeah, sure. Stream Seltzercast. List, it's everywhere, every podcast app, just like how Man of the Year is streaming absolutely everywhere. You can find Seltzercast anywhere. Right now we're doing the Pure Madness bracket, which WBAM has been on previously. And so that is just like a ranking of trying to determine what's the best flavor of plain seltzer. It's taking me by surprise. So yeah, it's a sparkling water seltzer based podcast. Please tune in if you want to, if you like, LaCroix or Liquid Death or any of that.
Can I real quick, because I did not get a chance to be on the episode, the We Bought a Mic episode for that. My favorite pure seltzer is Polar. Pure.
Polar was knocked out very quickly.
I know. And I hard disagree with that, because I think that just in general, Polar is always usually my go-to because it's like one of the spicier water of seltzers. I like how harsh the bubbles are. I like to have something it's gonna hit me. It's the same reason why I like to drink like kombucha. It's because like I want a little bit of like, oh, like knock me back. Like whenever you have like a McDonald's Coke or something like that. That's the energy that I want to get.
Sure.
We love the Seltzercast, man. It's so fun. There's a couple episodes that listeners can check out that we've been on. Maybe like 3 or 4, I think. I don't know what the exact count is, but it's been a while in the making of finally having you on. So thank you so much for finally.
Of course, I'm very happy to be here. I wish it was under a better movie, but it gave us a lot to talk about. So
next time you come on, we can talk about something that's like good, like something that's enjoyable.
We'll see.
Thank you all for tuning in, for listening and watching. Please be sure to rate, review, subscribe, like, and comment, and let us know your thoughts on Man of the Year, the film. And visit weboughtamic.net to get every episode delivered in your inbox. Sign up for the Discord. Thank you, beautiful donors, for donating. Stay tuned for the end of Robin. Only 3 left. Next week we're talking Happy Feet.
Nice.
Happy Feet.
Nice.
Should we sneak in Happy Feet 2 in there?
Well, I'm gonna watch both.
Okay.
So we can do both.
Yeah, the George Miller classics.
Yeah.
And then what else? Fast X. Fast X action. No?
Okay.
Succession.
Yeah.
What else is going on?
I want to watch Jury Duty.
Yes, Jury Duty. Yep.
Jury Duty.
Excited for that.
The Freebie original. Have you heard about this, Sean?
I have. I heard it's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see you next time. Thank you again, Sean.
All right. I'll see you.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.